I think the reason birth pools haven't been widely accepted is the total invasion of medicalized birth. When you put a birth pool on a hospital unit, the nurses have not been oriented to the natural phenomenon of women laboring in ecstasy. They haven't seen that. They haven't seen this picture. I fly on a lot of airplanes, and I sat beside one of my seat partners from Philadelphia to Fort Lauderdale. Was a third-year resident. He was finishing his residency in neurology. And we always exchange what you do for a living, and he was a resident, I'm a midwife. I run Waterbirth International, and he said, oh, that's very interesting. I attended lots of natural births in the hospital. Oh, really? That's wonderful. Fantastic. Congratulations. But let me ask you a couple questions. Were the women in the hospital whose births were natural? And how do you find natural? No drugs. Okay. Were the women on their backs in a bed? Yes. Were the women on a monitor? Yes. Did the women have an IV running? Yes. Were the women told when to push, how to push, and where to push? Yes. Did you have your fingers inside the woman's vagina saying, push here so I can feel the baby moving down? Yes. Did you cut an episiotomy on any of the women? Yes. And did you immediately cut the cord and give the baby to the nurse so the nurses could evaluate the baby and wash the baby down and wrap the baby up and bundle it and put it on the mother? Yes. And I looked at him and said, there is nothing natural about that. And that's what they're taught. And that's what the nurses are taught. The midwives escape that a little bit because they've been at least seen films of orgasmic and ecstatic births, but they've never seen it in the hospital because the hospital routine says this and this and this and this and this. You introduce the birth pool into that hospital, and all of a sudden you've got nurses freaking out. So why aren't there more birthing tubs? Because they've never seen it. They don't have it in their orientation. They don't have it on their radar. They don't have the understanding that birth could be a different way. When I told a doctor about the sacral joint moving, he said, how would I have ever seen that? I've never seen a woman off her back. And that's the main reason there aren't more birthing tubs, because the US in particular has obstetricians who are trained in a certain way, and the nurses are trained from the obstetric model, because I went through that training. We're trained in the obstetric model. We're trained to be the handmaidens of the doctors. The nurses do the labor. And if you vary from that, you're going to have to write a new protocol, you're going to have to change it some way. And to do that, you have to check with your insurance carrier and the hospital liability insurance policy. And it becomes this big circle. Women talk to me all the time. What can I do? What can I do to change things in my hospital? So I've written up an entire sheet. This is what the hospital has to go through. Step A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It goes all the way to Z and starts over again at double A, double B, double C. So it's about 30 steps that have to happen to put water birth in hospitals.